Hello friends and welcome back to another video of CS Mentor. So recently I've been coming across a lot of videos, comments, posts, thoughts by so many people, and there seems to be so much in terms of queries and doubts in relation to how should I study this subject? Is this important? Is that important? Is this chapter good for me? Should I leave this? Should I leave that? There are so many doubts as to how you should study your CS portions. And I thought, okay, why not? Let me start a sort of series where I get to discuss little bit of insights on each law subject. Okay, and I thought, okay, let's start with JIGL. Let's start with the first law paper in your executive level. It's forming part of module 1. And let me just give an introduction into this subject, okay? And while this is not the full outline of what to expect from the paper, I think I'll just give some basics of what we know about this paper. Well, first and foremost, this paper is entirely based on law. You have a total of 18 chapters, but there are some chapters which are so big that you can actually consider it as 20 chapters. And believe it or not, this is the only subject in your entire executive level that has a weightage of a total of 100 marks. What do I mean by this? The other subjects are divided into like a 60-40 ratio with, maybe 12 chapters for 60 marks and another 6 chapters for 40 marks. So, somewhere you can prioritize some chapters. You can even take the decision to leave some chapters, etc., etc. But with jurisprudence, that's not really the case. You have a total of 18 chapters where they could ask anything from anywhere, and the total 18 chapters is allotted for 100 marks. Okay, is this good? Is this bad? We'll discuss it. Okay, it is good and bad. First thing, it's good because since it's a completely theoretical paper, you have a great chance of scoring well in this paper. But the downside of this paper is that since there are 18 big chapters, I will say that each chapter is big. If each chapter is big, there are some chapters which are even bigger. Okay, and that is going to take some time to study. So then you're going to wonder, do I really need to study so much for 100 marks? Okay, so this is where you're going to face your first pros and cons. Now, can you study this subject on your own? Okay, the truth is, I don't think you can. When this subject was first introduced, I would have told you the exact opposite. I would have told you, you know what, give it a shot on your own. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to clear. But lately we're seeing some comments from ICSI, and this, you can just understand the general vibe of the papers. Maybe using the word vibe is not the best way to say this, but you can see on the basis of questions being asked. We've seen the progression of questions going from easy to quite difficult. Like these days, the easy paper itself has a higher level of difficulty. So just imagine how difficult the difficult papers will be. So I don't know if you know about this, but ICSI usually sets papers which are, some papers will be easy and some papers will be difficult. These trends, maybe let's try to analyze these later, okay? But for the new syllabus of the 2022 syllabus, the easy papers itself are slightly on the difficult level. Now, for that reason, it would be suggested that you take some form of training or guidance for this subject. Because should you attempt this on your own, you can study it, but it will take a lot of time. And time is something that, believe it or not, we don't have. Even if you're studying over 9 months, I assure you that you will not have enough time to cover the entire subject. And you're going to face so many queries and doubts. Sometimes you might not get the best guidance from online sources. Okay, and getting some form of training will save you time. It will be efficient. It will also prepare you for the exam, in the sense that your teachers will provide you some sort of questions, tests, guidance, etc. Okay, so my personal suggestion is that you get some kind of training for this subject. What if you want to, let's say you want to wait, you want to try reading some chapters on your own before you decide to enroll yourself with some kind of academy. Well, you can start out with maybe the following 2 chapters. Okay, the first chapter could be Law of Thoughts. I think it's your chapter number 5, if I'm not wrong. Start with that because it's a easy chapter. It's like a sort of a story. It's telling you a story of, this is this, and it's a very relatable. It's something that anybody could read and anybody could understand. There are some students who are probably right out of college, or you have completed your CSEAT, or just generally you have some knowledge about contract law. Then you can even start out with contract law. But let me just warn you, contract law is very big, which means they've given everything you need to know about contract law in that one chapter. Okay, so be prepared to read, because anyways you're going to have to attempt this subject. If you read both of these chapters, it will give you a good insight into what to expect. Law of Thoughts is simple, it's small, okay, and you can see what kind of questions they're asking there. Whereas contract law is big, it is huge, but they try to stick to whether they'll try to ask you questions regarding your practical knowledge of the same. So go through these 2 chapters. I think some people would be interested in criminal law, and with the coming in of the new criminal laws, that is your BNS, BNSS, your BSA, I'm giving short forms over here. If you're interested in to read that, please go ahead and read it. I think our module is pretty great in terms of how simple it is provided to you. Now, what are the practical difficulties that you're going to face in this subject? First, the legal language is different from our normal language. There's going to be a lot of things that you don't understand, especially things like interpretation, constitution, limitation act, things like maybe specific relief act. So these are all purely law based, and you will have to attune your mind to thinking like a legal professional. Now, this is where you're going to find your difficulty, because they'll also give so much interpretation of the law. They're going to interpret different sections, and they're going to give you case laws. I think the biggest difficulty is understanding how all of them piece together, how all of them come together to form a coherent, understandable subject. Okay, so this is the practical difficulty that you're going to face. But all in all, my genuine belief is that this subject is a very great subject in terms of scoring and in terms of understanding. How much time is it going to take you to study this? It really depends on person to person, because there are some people who are not very comfortable with the English language. And please understand that this is legal English language. So some people might face difficulty initially trying to understand what they're reading, but once you get past that initial phase, it becomes a lot more easier. The second difficulty that people will face will be in its scope. Like, it's going to be huge. And at this point, you're going to have to give at least a minimum of 4 months. Anything more than 4 months would be great, but a minimum of 4 months to study the subject. And I'm saying that you need to understand it first, and then you need to learn how to write it. Because come down to your actual paper, okay? In your paper, since it's a theoretical paper, it's designed to be a lengthy paper. The whole juris paper is always going to be lengthy. Most students come out of the exams telling me that they have not completed some questions, or that they did not have enough time to write all of the questions. So when you need time to you need time to understand the concepts and literally write and practice. Okay, so that's why I say 4 months time. I think I'll end with this video over here. Maybe in the remaining videos of the JIGL series, I'll give some highlights about different chapters, what could be important, what is could be less important. We could analyze some of the past question papers. We could also see things like your study plans, how to prepare for your notes, what to expect from the trainers that you're going to apply with. Things like this. You can stay tuned to my channel for some more insights into each paper.